I've been on a long grind.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to another episode of FS Uncut. Today by our usual guest. Let's start with introduce yourself, Daniel. How are you feeling this week? Considering that you guys have been knocked off your top match.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I'm good. Like when United went top, it was a bit weird because you would have thought they won the league or something or the treble. But it's only 17 games. It's calm. There's plenty of football to be played.
Perfect. And to my right, we are joined with the ever-present Coach Kojo. How are you doing?
Kale's gonna fight you for stealing that. Yeah, I'm good, man. I'm feeling good. It's been 7 years since I've seen my team top of the table winners. So if I'm enjoying it, let man enjoy it. You know what I'm saying, bro?
Yeah. Oh gosh. Anyway.
Let man enjoy. Hey, listen, let Kweku talk, bro. He's ready to talk already. Look here. He's holding that he's 50 Cent.
And then we'll on to Harold/Kweku. However you want to introduce yourself.
Follow me on Twitter, obviously Kweku_TVB. Yeah, it's been a decent week. You know, you grow up seeing a team who are, you know, so-called untouchables and they're the best team in the land. Now getting excited about being top after 17 games. It's nice to see. You know, it's good to finally be at that stage where we look at them and go, oh, okay. So I feel good.
Wow. He doesn't seem phased whatsoever.
30 years and he's found his cojones. It's okay.
It's absolutely brewing right now. And today we have our special guest today, Bits and Bobs. Introduce yourself and how are you feeling this week?
Yeah. So what? It's your boy Bits and Bobs. Listen, gentlemen, good evening. It's a great day, great time to be a Man United fan again. I'm feeling happy, man. I'm feeling happy because Liverpool fans, they know what's coming. They know what's coming. They look up, they see us. You know, order has been restored. Don't get me wrong, there's only 21 games left, and this is the year 21. And I dare say, #21 is coming home. So, yeah, I'm feeling good, Basil, man. Thank you for having me, bro.
Okay, I mean, that's a great segue. I mean, let's start with the fans whose team is top of the table. So, Daniel, how are you feeling? Oh, sorry.
Okay. That's how we're moving today.
How are you doing? Go on, tell us. Can Manchester United actually cross the finish line and actually win the league this season?
I mean, in this league right now, where everyone is doing higa-haga, anything is possible, isn't it? Right now, we're in a good position. Obviously, we took advantage of the game in hand. The players asked for the game to move forward, and they saw it through. They got the W, so I can only give them just sort of like praise right now. You know what I mean? They're playing good. The selections make sense. The tactics make sense. You went to Burnley. You didn't try and do a sort of defensive lineup because they have aerial threat. You actually went and said, we've got the better players, so we'll go forward and try and attack them, and that's what we did. Dare I say we should have won the game by a bit more. Cavani fluffed chances. The guy that I sort of had enough of, Anthony Croissant, that guy, he's fumbling chances as well. So, but at least, you know, we have people in there that can score goals like Bruno, like Pogba, to compensate for their errors going forward. But all in all, I'm happy. It's good to be top of the table, but we need to continue the form. So no matter what happens on Sunday, it's about finding consistency throughout the rest of the season. That's when you know if United are about this life again, or if it's going to be just a top 4 finish. So let's see what happens. But I'm happy so far. I'm good.
How long do we have to wait before the capitulation starts and we start screaming Ole out? Or is
Basil, hey, respect yourself, my guy. Respect yourself.
You're asking proper questions now.
Basil. The reason why people like me were saying Ole out is because everyone could see the inconsistencies. And after that 6-1 and after the CEO exit, if you were saying, I still believe in Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, you're a liar. That's a lie. You know what I mean? So, but he's found a level. He's found a level, and the players are playing well again. So, if they can find that consistent, if they can continue it, great. You will lose at some point, of course, it happens. But if you can bounce back from that L and go again, it ain't a thing. So that's what I want. But if they go back to that same old nonsense they were doing months ago, you know what I'm going back to. You know what I'm saying? So that's what it is.
Before I unleash the Liverpool fans onto you, Bits and Bobs, what's your thoughts on Ole?
Listen, Coach was calm. Coach was calm. I'm gassing the thing. Oi, we are top of the league, baby. Listen, Liverpool were running their mouth, yeah. Oh, we're the best team in the league. We're gonna win a quadruple. Shut your mouth, lad. Shut your mouth. Making noise. Listen, do you know what cookie? You know a cookie, yeah? If you apply pressure on a cookie, it crumbles. That's what Liverpool FC are. Cookie crumble FC. Listen, I said from the beginning when I first met Kojo, I said we could win the league. Everyone looked at me crazy. They were like, this guy's talking hella reckless. Yo, walk on for these men. You know what I mean? Walk on for these men. Listen, obviously, I'm gassed. Yeah. Because I grew up on my team dominating football. I went to secondary school talking smack. I wore my Man United jersey abroad, everywhere. Like, you can't chat to me. What, Man United? Are you dumb? What? Nah, yeah. You know that song where it says, heartbreaks and promises, I've had more than my share. Listen, the last 7 years, I've had all of that. Do you know what I mean? I've had all of that. Now, yeah, 2021, 2021. Listen, I'm gassed, but I'm not naive, obviously. You know, I know who's at the helm, and you know, me and Ollie have had our differences, but we're still here. You know, what I will say is this: yeah, the season is at a point where anyone could get spanked, and anyone could bang goals and demolish anyone. So all I'm gonna say is this: we're there now. Let's just try and maintain it. You know, let's just try and maintain it. And then trust me, come April, if we're there, wow. Anyway, let me not gas the thing up too much, but I'm happy right now, man. I'm happy right now. Because Liverpool fans, yeah, they're scared, bro. Basil, they're scared. You know what it's to be scared? Certain man are already planning their hideout, bro. Escape routes are getting planned already, fam. You know what I'm saying?
So Harold, they're saying you're scared. You don't look scared at all. So what's your rebuttal to that?
Do you know what? You have to look at it this way. We're the most experienced when it comes to being the so-called underdogs and having a dominant side. You know what I mean? We've seen Liverpool go at the title 3-4 times back in the day and not win it. And I see similar things with United now, where you have two teams in Liverpool and City who are the big boys and who are the teams that the cream that always rises to the top, right? And then you now have United, who are, let's say, the old Liverpool, where they have a good season and it looks like, oh, is this when they're going to finally break their duck and win the league? But then, you know, in February, March, when it gets going, they just crumble. So they're doing well, but I'm not really worried about them because, like everyone's saying, this league is a bit dodgy this season, right? And every team seems to have gone through their dodgy spells, right? And for whatever reason, everyone's time will come. I keep saying this. Everyone's time will come. Everyone's moment will come where they lose one player and all of a sudden they can't win a game. They lose another player and all of a sudden they can't win a game. And then you got to think Europa League is coming back. You get what I mean? And very rarely does a team in the Europa League end up winning the league. So I don't think, and I think, you know what's funny? I even think in terms of Liverpool, the boys have done enough not to be worried about other people. You see what I mean? They're done enough not to be worried about other clubs. And if anything, we're now at a stage where we have someone else taking the attention off us. And that's what's helping City at the moment. Everyone's not talking about City, but they win their game in hand and they're right up there. And all they're doing is just picking up points. So Liverpool need to go back to, I guess, not being center of attention and just picking up points.
But that's because Man United and Liverpool are the two biggest teams in the country. So no matter what, there's always going to be a level of attention on the two clubs that run things here. But
you'd agree when I say when it came to who win the league this season and even now, no one's really. It's just now that we've started to talk about City. Do you get what I mean?
People wrote them off because of a dodgy start, but it's a dodgy start in the terms of they haven't won this many games in a row. Same as you. Are Liverpool going to do it because they haven't won this many games in a row? But no one has.
Mm-hmm. I think people just looked at them and thought, nah. And even if you look at United fans are never mentioning, City. There's always Liverpool. But City are there and City can quietly go and do their thing. But I think it's all right. Like it's not. I don't think City and City and Liverpool are looking at it now and are worried about the position Man United at, because like I said, the Europa League match will start again. Winning Europa League on a Thursday and a league game on a Sunday, especially this season, it's not going to be easy. So, yeah.
So Dan,
Okay, but that being said, yeah. Sorry, but that being said, you man are still in the Champions League. You're still having to play twice a week, though, and
yeah, but
you man are struggling to field a full team. So, are you guys not going to drop points as well as Man United?
No, but you have to tell me who has played in the Europa League and won the league at the same time. It rarely happens. I
I get that. But I'm asking you what you're saying. Man United are going to play the Europa League and compete for the league. So we're still going to play the same amount of games you are in 1 week. So whose squad is good to go for that? Ours or yours?
You got to think about it this way. It's different when you're now in the title race, and you should know this. When Liverpool are winning on a Saturday, and then you're having to go and win on a Sunday, and you know you can't afford to drop points, it's not just another game. Do you get what I mean? You go from, guys, let's just win our games, to, wait, hold on, we can't afford to drop points here. And once you get to that stage, you know what I mean? You need experience, and this Man United team does not necessarily have that experience, and the manager does not have that experience. So that would definitely.
But your team only have an experience of winning one league, though, because the 3 times
how many league titles has Jurgen Klopp won?
Jurgen Klopp's won 3
in the Premier League.
But he's
leagues. You said leagues.
Yeah, 3. He's won 3 league titles. Yeah, he's won 3 league titles.
He's won 3 titles. Coach has won 2. So what?
Wait, where? Where in Norway? Is this guy being serious?
I'm talking to you about leagues, yeah? Look. If they both retire, yeah, it will still be on Wikipedia, whether that Ole has won 2 leagues. But check me out, yeah.
You can't be serious. What is Ole like, bro? This guy has just won the Champions League, the league 2 seasons in a row, and you're comparing him to a PE teacher. Let's not do
the PE teacher sitting top of the table.
After 17 games, well done, innit?
I'm using your logic, yeah? Your logic.
Yeah.
Okay, what you just told me about Man United, yeah?
Yeah.
Go for the next season. Whose squad? Okay, you're saying about pressure and stuff like that. You, man, have bottled it so far. You're dropping points right, left, and centre now. But we have a PE teacher, okay, who's only good for blowing whistles, putting cones down. But we're above you, and we're not even playing well.
You're not playing well.
We start playing well.
So you're not playing well now. So you've got another level in you, do you?
Are we playing well?
I think so.
I don't think you've got another level in you.
Harold, are we playing well?
I think you lot are doing well. You're playing well. You're picking up the points.
We're playing well.
You're playing well. Yes, you're winning games 1-0. You're controlling games. What else do you want?
All right, guys.
I'm asking the question.
You're back for PE, all right?
So just a quick one, just to bring Daniel into the conversation. So obviously at the moment, I think obviously United are like a bit of the catfish. You know, you speak to a girl online, you beat her, and afterwards, not what it sees. So when United take off the makeup, are they a City in disguise, a Chelsea in disguise, or an Arsenal in disguise? Because we all know the fall off is coming. So I just wanted to gather.
I mean, we're not falling off to 11th if that's what you're trying to assume.
And what do you expect in the coming weeks post the Liverpool game when they lose that game?
Yeah, good that you said that. When United lose on Sunday, because it's gonna happen, I don't think it's really gonna affect United that much, because when they lose, they'll be level on points with Liverpool. So I don't think they'll be that demoralized. And even though Bits and Bob said he's gassed, I don't believe the United players are as gassed as him. They'll be happy that they're top of the league, but I think that the foot is on the floor. They know that there's a long way to go. So, and I don't think they're dumb. Like we've been saying, there's only 17 games being played. There's a long way to go. I think Nemanja Matic has won the league in that squad. So has Pogba. So he's probably telling the players, don't get gassed. So when United lose on Sunday, even though I want to say they're gonna fall to 3rd, 4th, 5th, I don't believe it will happen, because the fixtures afterwards are kind. So I think this weekend is a huge game. I'm not trying to say it's not a huge game, but I don't think it will have that much effect on United afterwards.
Do I like about this? Is the way he's saying. Sorry, Basil. It's the way he's saying like, when we win and that. And the thing for me is, I'm staying humble, because like he said, if we lose, we're back on level points. It ain't that big a deal. I will not be triggered unless it's like a humiliation.
Bro, you know, I talk like you're
bro.
a small club.
Listen. Let me land.
I'll let you land.
I'm talking to Arsenal fans right now.
Bits and bobs is capping.
But hey, Harold, this is quite the same as talking about Arsenal fans live. Daniel, what is it? Go on.
No, I said bits and bobs is capping. He's capping. If they lose, he's gonna be vexed. He's capping. But
no,
I believe
you don't. No United fan will take losing to Liverpool good. Even the days I could talk about the days where we were dominating league and you beat us with flipping David and goal. It happens, isn't it? So it's football. But so we'll never take a win, a loss, like easily. I'm not saying I'm going to take it easy, but I'm saying I won't be as triggered unless it's humiliation because we'll be back on the level playing field and both teams will drop points. It's just about who drops more. And if that's us, cool. If that's you, cool. That's how football goes, isn't it? See us still there. That's the thing. So it's calm. But I'm saying this when we lose stuff or when we win stuff, yeah, I'm telling you right now, I'm being cool. But Daniel, if you don't win this game, yeah, you will come on this platform and I will finish you.
Bro,
Remember,
yeah.
Remember in Dragon Ball Z when Goku was flying away and then Frieza tried to blast him, so he turned around and ended him real quick.
Don't worry, I can't finish.
And if you don't show up on here, I'll just kill myself for you.
I'll show up. Don't worry, I'll show up. I'll be here.
Okay,
if we lose, I'll be here. Don't worry.
If you beat us, I'll be here too. Because I won't go missing for 2 weeks like people here. You know.
Can I say something? Yeah, I had a United fan tell me this, right, and that's why I'm not too bothered about them because he said, "Look, we've not been top of the table. We've not after you know a significant amount of games for 7-8 years. So I'm just going to enjoy this week as much as I can." And I think that's what's happening. United fans are now in that position where this rarely happens. They don't really go through
We're
this.
enjoying it.
Bob's
about
really enjoy the moment.
You guys don't really win the league.
Bob's
will agree. It won't last long, but just enjoy it. It's fine.
The reason why we're enjoying it so much,
it's only going to be for a week or two. So go ahead. Be happy.
The reason why we're enjoying it so much, yeah, is because of the way that everyone has gone on social media and they're having a breakdown. It's like, oh my God, United are top. How can United be top? I'm like, can you calm yourselves down, bro? It's football. This is what people are stressed. I'm hearing Mark Clattenburg came out of nowhere. There was an aura at a time when Alex Ferguson was there. That's where they came. I'm like, hold on. Where did you even come from? Like, it's stuff like that. I'm like, okay, then I'll talk rubbish. But if it's a calm thing, then we here. That's it. So you know, that's it.
Yeah, let me to my next topic. Obviously, Mark Cranber's come out with a few quotes about Jurgen Klopp trying to be the next Ferguson in terms of how he's influencing games and influencing referees. Do you think that's the case, or do you feel it's been a bit blown out? Do you think maybe Jurgen Klopp is trying to do that and isn't being successful? Or do you think maybe Mark Clattenburg is Mark Clattenburg and trying to put him back in the limelight again?
Mark Clattenburg, I don't know why he's talking. Firstly, I don't know why he's talking. Like, that was so random. Maybe he's trying to become popular. Maybe he's trying to become a pundit. I hear him, but he needs to keep quiet. With Jurgen Klopp, is it proving successful? I'll say yes for 2 reasons. The first reason is, after the game, him talking about United completely deflected of our poor performance against Southampton. I don't know how the players got away with that, but after I watched that game, they should have been slated by everyone. But everyone was talking, for some reason, about United's penalty record because Klopp brought it up. Then when you watched the Burnley game yesterday, you saw Maguire's goal being disallowed. Look, I'm not a referee. I don't think anyone here is a referee. But that was a clear goal. I did not see any foul there. And a ref is now giving decisions against Manchester United. I think it's playing in the referee subconscious. So I think Klopp should continue to do it. I want him to bring out another comment on Thursday, Friday, influence the referee on Sunday, and then, yeah, let's go get 3 points.
It's tactics. See tactics. Man, listen, what Klopp is doing, he's obviously doing what good managers do. You deflect everything, you know. You make sure the limelight doesn't stay on your team. Cool story, but do you know the difference between him and Fergie? Is that it's called dominance, authority, presence. and a packet of chewing gum, which Klopp does not have. You know what it was when he was chopping that Wrigley? Oi, listen, the thing is, yeah, look, Klopp, right? It's football, isn't it? Let's be honest. Like every manager at the top has done this. It's psychology. You try and get into the mind so they can start doubting. It's as simple as that. It's like when your girl's like, "Oh, you're cheating on me," and you're like, "Oh, baby, come on, this is me. Come on, I would never do anything to you." You know what I'm saying? You just excuse all the doubt, you know. But look, it's funny he's doing it because he's mentioning Man United, you know. But I love to see it. Long may it continue because he's going to look like an idiot when Bruno scores a penalty. So it doesn't matter for me. Let him continue.
All right, Harold, moving on to your, would we call them the noisy neighbours or the quiet neighbours across the street from you? Everton. I mean, they're doing business quietly.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think we can expect of Everton this season? Under Ancelotti, do you think they can quietly get into the top four, even maybe surprise people, maybe hold a title challenge? I say title challenge up until maybe game 30 or game 32. What's your thoughts on them?
Yeah, I think they're doing well. Ancelotti is doing well. I think with him, his greatest strength is the fact that he identifies everyone's strength and plays to it. And even if you look at Iwobi, initially when he came, he wasn't really getting game time. And, you know, you looked at it and thought, oh, maybe he will eventually move to another club. But he's now found a way to play him in that team, and he's beneficial to the team. And, you know, Rodriguez has been injured, been in and out of the team, yet he's had Iwobi come in and he's had players come in and do a decent job. And that shows how good he is as a manager. And I think they'll probably finish 6th or 7th. I genuinely think as the season goes on, and it's as much as it's not a normal season, I still feel like the big boys, the top 4, if you want to call it, or the top 6 will eventually, top 6 minus Arsenal, will eventually find their way to be the top 5, you know what I mean? And even last season, we saw Leicester stay 2nd or 3rd until March. Do you know what I mean? And then it just all went, it all went out the window. And I think we as fans underestimate the psychology of football. And even as we get to that stage where it's all about who win the league, who finished top 4, all these clubs feel the pressure. You know what I mean? So with for now, I feel like everyone can just get on with it, play their games, and Everton are doing well. But when it comes to the stage where when they go away to a team and they now need to pick up points, or they need to do this, they need to do that, we'll start to see them struggle more. And obviously, a few of their players are out of form as well. Calvert-Lewin not scoring as much. James Rodriguez trying to find his feet. So, you know, I feel like I think 6 or 7. Europa League for sure. I think they'll get Europa League. But there's so many teams that are doing all right. Villa, Wolves, Leicester, all these teams I think are up there for Europa League places. So it'll be very tough, but I think they'll make it. So I'll have them in the Europa League, I'd say.
And
There's certain teams that can't even get into top 10.
I'm
scrolling down on the next page to see your club.
Yo, Basil, don't have it, man. Don't have it.
We're coming for that top 4 soon, innit? Don't watch that. Everton. Certain players are out of form.
Money.
Calvert-Lewin. Dominic Calvert-Lewin hasn't been as consistent in a while. Do you think that his form was just a purple patch? And do you think maybe he is a limited type of striker? You can only do a certain amount of things on his own, but requires a service. What's your thoughts on him so far this season, and your overall thoughts on him as a player?
My thoughts on him are going to be a bit biased, not because I'm a Liverpool fan, because he's been messing me up in fantasy. I've gone from 1st to like 5th, 6th in a lot of leagues because of Calvert-Lewin. But in terms of him, I don't want to call him a basic striker. The reason being is because, I don't know, strikers who score goals and do nothing else nowadays get looked down upon. And I think that's a bit unfair because the number 1 job of a striker is to score goals. And he was putting them away. And I think his form dropping coincided with Luca Digne being out injured and also being suspended, because Luca Digne is probably Everton's most creative player next to James Rodriguez. And if he's not getting in those crosses, it's going to be hard for him to score goals. So I do feel sorry for him. But with Lucas Digne and James Rodriguez coming back in, I think he'll be fine. He'll probably won't be a top scorer because that's not his level. That's not an insult. Like, that's just not his level. But he'll be near the top, definitely.
Perfect. So that's a nice roundup on Everton. Kojo, coming to you. Now I'm going to focus a bit more on the silent assassins in the league. Well, the team that nobody seems to be talking about, really. City.
I thought you were going to say Arsenal.
Same.
Stop having it.
Leave Arsenal alone, innit? That's all I'll say. Leave us alone. City. What can we expect from City this season? And ultimately, can they find themselves secretly or quietly aiming reaching the top of the league very soon? Especially with the form. I mean, they seem to be winning games. What's your thoughts on City so far, and what they can achieve this season? Do you think they can do the treble or the quadruple this season? Or what's your thoughts?
You know what? Firstly, Manny, you're supposed to be here, so stop tweet commenting and get into this. But you know what? See for me, I've not been silent because they're my neighbors. So I've always got to watch out for them. And the thing is, they're doing their business so well. They're not conceding goals. They're defending excellently. They're not slapping teams 4 or 5, but that's not necessary. They're getting 3 points. And that's the most important thing. They're being effective in their performances more than ever. They seem to have solved the issue of being countered with ease after the Tottenham game. So, when they played United in the Cup, for example, United couldn't do that against them. And United were kind of short of ideas because they were also defending well. Ruben Diaz. We said it last year. When they lost company, they need to replace. That's a leader at the back. Simple as that. Laporte, for me, I said it to Harold. I've never really rated him too highly. He's not a leader at the back. Navas, Stones, and Otamendi, thank God they got rid of him because he's nowhere near a leader. Ruben Diaz is a leader at the end of the defense. And anyone that watched Portugal, anyone that watched him at Benfica, he had the armband from young. He's a conquering centre back. The guy is phenomenal. And that's one of the signings that made me mad because I was like, you guys know how I feel about certain man in my team, and they're just gonna sign an absolute rock at the back. And the guy is a key reason as to why they're getting better week in and week out, because now Fernandinho's not making those small challenges anymore because he doesn't have to do that anymore. He ain't got to worry, So, they've reached a good level and they continue to do it. And I'll be more impressed at the fact that they're winning games one way or another, similar to how they did when they were going toe-to-toe with Liverpool. They weren't smacking everyone 4 or 5. They were getting their 1-0s. They were getting their 2-1s, because that's what you need to do sometimes to get the 3 points is most important. Goals scored and all that will come in effect if you're head-to-head on goal difference at the end of the season, like we were with them. That's when you can bring that into effect. But other than that, the points getting onto the board and climbing up the table, they're not silent. They're silent because everyone's looking at Liverpool and Man United, because Man United are, I guess, the giant that were away for years and suddenly they may be doing something. And obviously Liverpool are the current champions. So everyone's looking at those two. Like I said to Harold earlier, the 2 biggest teams in the country, of course they're going to look at them. City are doing things here. They have been doing things here, but people don't look at them on the same level as United and Liverpool when it comes to infrastructure, size, the rest of it. So they're not doing anything silently for me, but they're not finishing anything lower than 3rd. That's an absolute guaranteed fact. That's just what it is.
So would they say favourites then? Or what would you
I don't know who the favourites are, because as good as they are right now, again, they have dropped silly points this year. So I don't know who the favourites are. I'd rather not say that. That's why I said at the beginning of the season, I said I don't know who it's going to be. Well, you'll say Liverpool, but again, I said it to you. With your front 3, as long as they're fit, and you got Jota who was in good form when he comes back from injury, as long as those guys are fit, you got a chance in any game. But of course, because you lost Van Dijk and you lost Gomez, there's always that frailty at the back. So again, you don't know where it's going to be. So I wouldn't call a favourite right now. Let's just see what happens, bro. But City are climbing and they're climbing fast. So anyone that wrote them off, quite frankly, are stupid.
Okay. Bits and bobs. Obviously, for me, KDB is one of the top 3 players in the league. Where do you think he ranks in world football in terms of rankings as a player? He's an exceptional player. consistent year in out in the league. Sometimes people like to pigeonhole his status as the best in the Premier League, one of the best in the Premier League, but never really want to give him put him there in a conversation as to maybe one of the best in world football. Where do you rank him in world football?
As in Kevin De Bruyne?
Yeah.
I think he's the GOAT. Ginger of all time. I think we've probably not seen him play as well as that.
Is he better than Scholes?
Huh?
Is he better than Scholes for you?
No, he's not actually. He's not actually. I take that back. No, he's not. No, listen, real talk. He's not. No, listen, he's you know what? He's a very good player. Do you know the Premier League here? We're always blessed with that one exceptional talent. You know, Ronaldo. You can even say Torres at his prime. You know, that club. You can even, there's always been a player that's been exceptional, right, and consistent. And the way football's changed, you can't look. Rival aside, the guy's brilliant. He's literally top class. Where would I say is he top 3 in the world right now? Sorry, Basil. No, I don't think he is, because when Liverpool won the league, they capitulated. I don't think that happens with a Roy Keane or a Patrick Vieira. So I think he's top 5 in Europe right now. But I think right now he's the best in the league, 100%. It pains me to say that. But I'm a football man. I'm a football man. Look, he plays for a shit club. That's not his fault. But yeah, Do you know what I mean? and also, yeah, I personally think that this season, City will go about their business, but they still won't do anything. Because I low-key think when it comes to Champions League, their attention will turn to that.
That's what
I think, man. That's what I think. I do. Because do you know what? Just to elaborate on that, they've won the league, okay? They've dominated for a bit. They've won trophies, unlike some other clubs. And I just feel the Champions League is the last cherry on top.
You're right.
Yeah. And for me, Pep only came to win the Champions League. He can crack all these jokes. He tried to come and dominate English football. No, you came to win the Champions League. Let's be honest. Because you don't go to Manchester City to just win the league. You know what I'm trying to say?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's my 2 cents on that one.
Just to add to your point, I think you're spot on. Last season was his chance. Like, you've got Leon in the semis, and you bottled that. That's ridiculous. And I think he's looking at it, right? And I think Pep will build another City team, but it will not be as good as the previous ones that he's had with Aguero, KDB, company. He's not going to do that again. He's not going to build a team at that level, in my opinion, right? Because I'm even looking at this
for him to do that.
Sorry?
It would be too expensive for him to do that, right?
And yeah, and this current team is efficient, but let's be very honest. When they've gone against a big boy, right, like the Spurs team, even when they beat United, you still felt like, you know what? If United had a little bit of quality, they're hurting them. You see what I mean? And every time they've played a big team, I've just looked at them and said, 2 years ago, any big team that City face, I'm looking at them and thinking, boy, I don't know how you're going to get past City today, right? And it seemed as if only Liverpool can deal with, only Klopp could hurt Pep in that manner, right? But now any top manager can go into that game and think, hold on, I'm getting something out of this. So I think he's gonna try and do it, but I can't see it.
Perfect. So now moving on to a manager who's won the Champions League twice. Daniel, Spurs, where's it all going wrong? And will they find themselves rubbing shoulders with Arsenal at some point in the season?
Yeah, Spurs, where it's all going wrong, it has to be Mourinho, in my opinion. I love the manager, loved it when he came to Chelsea as a human being, hated his club. When he went to United, I love that him and United were failing at the same time. But now that he's at a club where no offense, Ranty, they don't really matter. I can root for him. But Spurs, Jose Mourinho, it's actually embarrassing watching him sometimes. They'll play Wolves, they'll play Fulham, they'll go 1-0 up, and they'll just sit back. And for me, that's embarrassing. I don't know why you're playing against all these teams who have less quality than you, and you're not attacking them. You're not putting them to the sword. And it's just poor. And Darren came on a week or 2 weeks ago and said that Jose Mourinho always takes off Ndombele. And when Ndombele comes off, the intensity drops. And that happened against Fulham. I don't know why he's trying to do 2004 tactics in 2021. He needs to buck up his ideas, because if he continues like this, top 4 is going to be long for him. Because for me, United, City, and Liverpool are certainties. That 4th spot is up for grabs. And there's Chelsea, there's Leicester, Villa, Everton, even though I don't think Everton will be anywhere near there. But the teams who are going to challenge Spurs, and if Jose is going to continue this, Spurs can kiss Champions League goodbye, and he can just focus on Thursday night football.
Anyone else want to chime in on that and give their thoughts as to what's going wrong at Spurs?
I feel like Jose. Sorry, bro. I feel like Jose. There's a bit of doubt in him from in terms of his players. So I think he looks at his squad and he says, "Okay, look, we brought in quite a lot of players. Obviously, loads to buy, but people like, for example, I'll throw a random name out there: Jadson Fernandez, waste of space signing. Like, he's done nothing here. Dele Alli has not found form for the last 2 years. Oh, sorry, no, he found form for 3 games when Mourinho first came, and then went back to type again. So he's not performing. Bergwijn drops stinkers, but then when he has chances, he doesn't put them away. So I think he's at a stage where he's like, what do I do? Because there's 2 men I can rely upon. Even though in the Fulham game, as much as we say he sat back, Son had 4 clear-cut chances and messed them all up. And he's been firing for them this season. So you have to ask the question, what happened there with him as well? So it's kind of stuff like that where it's like, as much as I can get to Mourinho for what he's doing, the Ndombele subs, for me, it's either one of 2 things. Either he doesn't trust him to see the game out, or the guy still can't do 90 minutes, which is scary. It's a scary thought for me. It's either one of the 2. The Chelsea keeps getting injured. Bergwijn's not done well on the right. Bale is just done. So that's why we saw Sissoko. That's why we saw Sissoko on the right wing. And you know about Sissoko and end products. The words don't even mesh. Yeah, it is here. You know. And then you look at the backline as well. And obviously people are asking the question, why always Eric Dyer? And for me, I think the reason why Eric Dyer is always playing is because he's the most available. Alderweireld's obviously a better centre back than him, but he's injury prone and he's older. Davinson Sanchez, I just don't want to speak about him. Juan Foyth, Jesus Lord have mercy on my soul.
He's still there.
Exactly my point. You know what I mean? Sometimes you got to look at these players and you got to think, if I was managing that team, would I have faith in these same players? And the answer is no. You know what I mean? It's simple. It's stuff like that. So also, if you want Spurs to play a controlling game, and Ndombele can keep the ball, Højbjerg is good at keeping the ball to an extent. Lo Celso is more of a direct dribbler. He's not much of a passer, so you can't trust him to do 1-2s. Harry Winks is just a recycler. And when I say that, trust me, it's not a compliment. You know, and then Serge Aurier caught form and then became Serge Aurier again. Like, it's these things that happen at Tottenham and everything comes back in circle. And it's making me think now, like, you know, I don't know, even does it get to a point where if it's the manager, what can they do? Because it might be another 12 years. If they win the League Cup in April, it could be another 12 years before they win another League Cup. So basically, it's kind of like it's like the Chiellini effect. You know what I mean? It's what he said. Literally, it comes in circle over again. He says, "Listen,
the history of Tottenham."
That was so rude, you know.
No, it's facts though. It's facts. It's like Arsenal. It's like Arsenal with El Nene. Arsenal will be passing the ball forward, and he collects the ball and goes back. Like it's just nonsense. It's poor. It's poor to watch. And when you want to advance, and you only got 2 men that can provide a threat, because no one else in the team scores goals or at least gets 5 or 6, you got to look at the team. You got to say, you know what? At this point, there's nothing much I can do as a manager. Jadson, poor. Lucas Moura, get him out of there. Forget about Ajax. That time has come and gone. You lost that final. Let him go. Bergwijn, waste of time. I've said Jadson Fernandez already, haven't I? Dele Alli done for. In fact, let him go and join his father in PSG. At least he'll go and do some goal scoring there. Like, it's just not gonna work. So I think a poor man's Jack Wilshere. I was thinking a poor man's Mark Noble. So me personally, I see why people get onto Jose Mourinho, but right now Spurs are just not good enough, and that's just what it is.
But Coach, I have to disagree with you. The reason why is because when we watch Spurs versus Fulham, like you mentioned a lot of players for Spurs, but if you go through the Fulham team, it's not as if they're blessed with ballers.
They're not levels, yeah.
But progressing the ball from back to front, you could see that they actually work on that in the training pitch. You can see that when a player, let's say a left back has the ball, he has 3 options. When the DM has the ball, he knows what to do. With Spurs, unless Kane is dropping deep or unless Ndombele is doing a surging run, beating 2 or 3 players, I can't see them doing anything. And for me, the reason why I get onto Jose is because I saw the same thing with Manchester United when he was there. I saw the same thing towards the end with Chelsea, where the team will get the ball and they have no clue what to do. So that's why I have to get onto the manager, because I'm seeing managers with worse players doing better. And
even in your worst times, when you had man like Konchesky and them man there, you were still better than a lot of teams. But the players weren't doing the job on the pitch. I'm here for criticizing managers. If we talk about Jose at Man United, trust me, we'll be here for another 2 hours because I can rant about that. But sometimes I've got to look at these players and say, you know what? You just don't do your job correctly. Sometimes. That's just what it is. That's why I call man a recycler, for example, because I don't see him making any progression on the pitch. Your team's trying to go forward and you're bringing everything back or to the side and you can't go forward. You know what I mean? It's that kind of stuff that stops Tottenham going from here to here. It's the small things. There's always been small details with them, in my opinion, anyway.
Do you not think that when Jose went to Tottenham, when he was watching from the Sky Sports studios, I personally think he thought Tottenham were better than what they were. Yeah. And he probably thought, I could work with certain individuals here. And when he actually went there, he's like, I'm working with a bunch of losers. And I'm not saying that to troll Tottenham. What I'm trying to say is that, well, I am saying that to troll Tottenham. But what I'm saying is that mentality, you know, I played football. I know coach or coaches. I don't know you guys for football wise, right? But you know when you play games and it's like it's in your mind you're gonna lose. It doesn't matter. We're probably gonna lose anyway. Like Mourinho's used to working with men. Like, do you know what I mean? Like we can only go back to the Chelsea days. You know, he had men, people that were ready to ball out or fight. Do you know what I mean? And he said, football's changed. You know, everything's all different and stuff, but you're still kicking the same ball. I just think that he can't trust majority of his squad, 100%. I think you see the Ndombele thing, right? And it's shocking if it's true that he can't maintain his condition. It's shocking to say that a man of his age and stature cannot be fit. Then you have to look at some of the decisions. Like Eric Dyer plays because he's probably the only one that can be fit and that you can trust on. If Jose doesn't trust you, you're in trouble. Do you know? And if we're talking half the squad, less than half the squad are the players he can trust. The Bergwijn signing, it's a bit iffy, to be honest. I don't understand that. Bale, that's just to sell shirts. Don't kid yourself on. You know, he'll sell more shirts than he'll play games. Put it that way, 100%. I think to sum up Tottenham is that we're looking at a modern day Jose Mourinho, but they're still losers. Literally, like Jose must be watching. You see, you get frustrated. He must be watching, thinking, "Are you effing joking me? Like, you guys have one job." Where, like, do you know what I mean? Like, for example, I can see Liverpool go to Klopp will be like to Hendo, "This is what we have to do," and you can see Hendo channel every instruction, battle every ball, and I think Jose doesn't really have that kind of character. You can ask your centre forward to drop in at DMC, but he can't do that every game. Yeah. Do you know what I'm trying to say to you? I think they are probably the best team in North London right now, Tottenham, and I think Jose will go for the Europa League. I honestly think that it'll get to a stage in February where he'll be like, okay, Europa League, and he probably will win it, if I'm honest.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. I think if you look at that team, and even when they were doing well, if you look at that team, there are only 2 top players in that team, right?
Exactly.
And from experience, no team in this Premier League wins the league with just 2 top players. It's not going to happen, right?
Wow.
Because your 2 top players are not going to have 38 top games. And as much as we go on about Son and how good he is and how he might be better than this person and that person, Son still struggles in some games. You know what I mean? Son still does not turn up in some games for whatever reason, because he's obviously started the season well. People feel like that he's, how old is he? 28. Am I right? Yeah. So he's been in this league for a while, and now people thought, oh, you know what? He's finally arrived, and now he's gonna bang 20 goals, 25 goals this season. It's not that easy. It's not that easy week in and week out, midweek, to turn up and win games. And I'm sorry to bring it back to Liverpool, but that's why Mane and Salah are next level, because they will win you those games week in and week out. Son is not going to do that. Kane is going to do that, but he can't do it every single week.
That's it.
So from day one, you can tell that halfway through this season, these boys are going to be tired. They're going to look back and go, someone else try and grab a goal, and there's going to be no one else. Do you know what I mean? And you need goals to win games. You need goals to win games. Those 2 were not going to score 60, 70 goals in that Tottenham team. And apart from those 2, no one else is scoring. So do I blame Mourinho? Yes, but bro, you need goals in your team. And they've only got 2 goals. Like, without those 2, no one else is scoring a goal. So what do you do?
Yeah, no, I'll totally agree with you, Howard. I think one of my biggest issues is that everyone else is not pulling their weight. And that's the reason why Harry Kane is having to drop deep, because players are not creating in that midfield. So he's having to drop deep to sort of do that job of creator. But then the biggest thing we have is that sometimes Harry Kane doesn't bust the gut to get forward to actually help with that attack. So sometimes when it goes forward, they're sometimes sitting and waiting for either Harry Kane or for Son.
He's tired, bro. He's tired.
And like I said, and for me, it's like, if you're a striker and you drop deep, it works when the wide men are doing their job. Look at Liverpool. Firmino drops deep, but he can do that because Salah and Mane pick up the spaces that he's created for them to create that dangerous score goal. So when Kane does it, he's always relying on Son, because Bergwijn isn't doing it.
Yep.
Lucas Moura isn't doing it. The likes of even when Lo Celso Lamela play, they're not doing it. And so, like I said, there's only so much 2 players can do before it starts to fall apart. And I think that's what we're having at Tottenham now. Yeah, long may it continue. That's what I was saying.
You know what Tottenham are? Tottenham are a 7-a-side team. You know what Power League, 7-a-side, yeah? When you got the 2 ballers and everyone just fits in. You know what I mean? Yeah. There's one man that always runs, like Son, and there's a guy that always scores goals. That's what they are, 7-a-side team. And every man's just playing defense. No, man, that's what they are. You know them ones where there's the centre back that just kicks it long, hits it into the corner.
That's
all the bad 100. Harold, what you said about Son is the reason why I struggle to call him world class, in my opinion, because what Son is doing, it's happened in seasons before. Like when Harry Kane went out injured, he went on like a 7-8 game scoring streak, and everyone lost their minds. And then after that, he was nowhere to be seen. And I'm sorry, you cannot be a world class player when you're just streaky. For me, that doesn't happen. That can't happen.
So Daniel, staying on that subject. So how would you define world class, and would you put Son there? Because there's been a lot of discussion about that. I think Darren Bent was asked a question on Talk Sport. Does he believe he is world class? And he said, absolutely. I mean, and then there was a whole discussion, people agreeing, people disagreeing. How would you define world class, and would you put Son in that back bracket, and would you maybe put the likes of Rashford in that bracket too?
For me, I've always found the word world class hard to describe because it's very subjective. It's your opinion. But for me, world class is when you're an elite player, when you're just the top of the top in your position. And I don't mean top 5. I mean like almost every club in the world would want you in the team, or if they have a player in your position, they'll accommodate for you. For me, Son Heung-min, for the reasons I've just said, he's not world class. Marcus Rashford, I don't think he's world class. And this might sound crazy. For me, Rashford is closer to being world class than Son, in my opinion. That's just my personal opinion.
His ceiling is higher. That's why.
I think that's higher. No, I think that's because of age. honestly. Because
Yeah, it's definitely because of age. Because if Rashford was 28 doing some of the things he does now, I wouldn't think that. But he's what, 21, 22, 23, between that age bracket. So he has a long way to go and a long way to improve. But for me, a world-class player, you have to be elite. You have to be the top. And for me, Son is a good player. He's a very, very good player. But I don't think he's elite. For me, he's not top class. He goes missing too often for my liking.
So quick question before I open up to everyone else. Because I think Mane and Salah are world class. What's your thoughts on that? And do because they consistently do. And here's my question. So my thing is that is there anybody in the Premier League that we can classify as world class? In your thoughts, Daniel? Everyone else.
For me, there's quite a few players, in my opinion, that are world class. For me to go through them would be quite a long list.
Let's give us 5 then. And then
5, okay. Because you've already said Salah and Mane, I'm not going to include them. Okay. Kevin De Bruyne, he's definitely
world class.
Andrew Robertson, definitely world class. Virgil van Dijk, he's definitely world class.
Oh my God.
Have I said Harry Kane?
No.
Harry Kane, yeah.
Harry Kane, he's definitely world class. And people might say it's form. People might say he's only done it for 1 year. But what he's done for 1 year, he also did it in Portugal. And for me, he's inevitable. And
I said the name.
I'm not going to say that. I'm not going to say he's world class. But he's very close. Bruno Fernandes.
What do you mean very close? He's in your top 5. Say his name.
Oh no! Oh, my top 5. Oh no! Who else would I put? Raheem Sterling.
You never said his name. Say his name.
He said it.
No. The United boys.
What do you say?
Coming to you before we go to United. Your thoughts on how you define world class, and is there any player in the league that you would classify as world class? Because a touchy subject because everyone has different definitions. That's what world class actually is.
People say it's subjective. I know Hit and Miss said it's subjective, but I don't think it's that subjective, right? Because there are factors that absolutely define a world-class player, right? Number one is obviously excelling in your position, right? You have to excel in your position and you have to be consistent, right? And when you do, very rarely do people debate about whether you're world-class or not. You see what I mean? Because you break barriers and you do things that everyone looks at and goes, you know what? I can't deny it. I just can't deny it. And when with world-class players as well, world-class players, they might go through a phase where you think you're not as good as you've been playing, but you know it's a phase. You know that they snap out of it quick.
They're still effective.
Yes,
not playing at their best. They can.
It's almost like It's almost like they've come down to everyone else's level now.
Yeah.
You see what I mean? Because you're looking at, and Mane right now is playing like he doesn't know how to play football. But now it's almost like he's come down to everyone's level. And I think there's so many players that we can't argue with because of what they do week in and week out. And when it matters, they turn up. You can't be world class for me and not turn up when it matters. That's part of it. That's part of when your team needs you, everyone turns around and look at you. And you're like, yeah, okay, is that what you need? And then you do it. Do you get what I mean? And that's exactly what a world-class player is. So when you mention names, and that's why when you play we've seen Payet played at West Ham. He might have had a world-class season, but we didn't call him world-class because he was not in a position to do things under crazy pressure. That's why only the top boys, the top 6 boys, the top clubs have the world-class players, because they turn up that Champions League semi-final where it looks like the game is done and win you the game. That Premier League title challenge and win it for you. That's what defines a world-class player. Do you get what I mean? So when Kane is world-class because what he's doing is exceptional. So if you're not winning leagues, everything about you must be exceptional. But once you start adding trophies and being the difference maker with the trophies, no one can question you. Like no one can question you.
I just have to jump in. The reason, even though like for me, he does make some mistakes that annoy me. Like against Burnley, he gave the ball away, and I'm thinking, what are you doing? But what you just said about difference maker, that's the reason why, for me, I personally don't think Bruno's world class. However, if somebody says Bruno's world class, I'm not going to argue because you cannot deny he's a difference maker. He is
Yes,
a
but
difference maker.
I think with Bruno is a time thing. He's done it. Obviously, he's done it for sport in Portugal, but and it's a good league. Don't get me wrong, but we wait.
Not the Premier League, yeah.
Yes, we wait for you to touch these levels before we call you world class. And he's done it for a year. It looks good. I think at the end of the season, depending on how he defines the rest of United's season, because if he collapses with them, now I'm looking at him and going, hold on, bro. Maybe we should wait before I call you world class. You know what I mean? So that's why you have to give these players time, a season, maybe 2 seasons, to see what they're about before you start calling them world class. Because anyone can have a top 1 year. Anyone can have a top year and a half. When you start going 2, 3, then we're like, whoa, this guy is that's what if we keep it like that, there will be less arguments because this whole son is world class thing, and then he goes through bad form, and the people that said he's world class will now say, oh, you know what? Okay, maybe he's not world class. Then wait till he has the season where people are comparing him to Salah Mane. Wait till he has the season where he bangs 25 goals, and then he has to do it again. Then you go, okay, this guy has matured. This guy
People compare him to Sterling. Disgrace.
My thing about Bruno, right, and this is my shit. I think he's a top quality player, but I don't even think I would ever put him world class. For 2 reasons. People talk about if United win the league, but Mahrez won the league. Where do people put Mahrez? There's a debate about him. But then my thing with Bruno, huh? What do you say?
Some people will say he's probably the best winger in the league.
I'm not going to argue. Some people say no. But my issue with Bruno is that I think Bruno's ability-wise, as you said, I don't think he excels in terms of ability-wise. So he doesn't keep the ball well.
It doesn't matter though, because what he's good at, he excels at.
I agree with you, Harold.
No, the way is, sorry to cut you guys, but the way is about is it sounded like Daniel from what's his podcast called? Eyes on the Ball TV. What he says, he just like me, he's more chance creation over ball retention. So if you're trying to just create chance after chance after chance after chance after chance, I care about that a lot more than this whole sort of ball retention, that kind of stuff. For Bruno, his job is very simple in the United team. His job is to try and create or score, or it's actually win games. Simple as that. Win games, and he's doing it. No matter the matter, the manner.
No, that's because to me that is fine, Michael, because that's his job. But my issue is this: if you're talking about world class, let's talk about the execution percentage. It's not great at Bruno. But I think if you're world class, when you attempt those passes, the majority of it come off. The amount of times he gives away the ball, the amount of times he tries those 2 passes, and it is.
But bro,
sorry, bro. If you look at United properly, bro. If you look at United properly, if you watch United properly, let's be honest about United for 1 second, right? Yeah. If you look at some of the players and some of the passes he makes, someone like the reason I criticize Martial a lot is because Martial's not making runs in behind. Yeah. Every time Bruno creates something, it's because of movement. You need your players to move about. Same way at Liverpool. If Liverpool creates something, Firmino can create chances with Salah and Mane because they're always moving. They're not standing in one place waiting for the ball to come and then try and beat 5-6 players. It's about a connection. So when Bruno's making these passes, yes, some of them are unnecessary. I hear that. But at the same time, there are a lot of them which you just say, look, if you make this movement, he will find you. That's why I like him playing with Mata, for example, because Mata might not be the quickest, but he's intelligent. He makes moves. They link up all the time. That's the kind of thing I like to see. So that's why I can put him in that bracket, because from what I see from him, he's trying to do things to win the game. And more often than not, no matter the manner, he's different. He's the difference maker. And that's why I put him in there. Now,
that's a different picture, right? Because my thing is this. He sees it. He has the mind. My issue is the execution. Because if you compare it to another, if Ozil did a lot of the same things that Bruno did, we will not classify him as world class. The reason why they classify him as world class is because he executed. Even though under Arsenal, under Madrid, they didn't score the goals. He executed the passes. Bruno's execution of the things he wants to do.
The reason why Ozil was not given, the world class tag was taken away from him
because he's playing a dead club.
The level of performance, not only from the players around him, but from himself, was always dropping. And he wasn't, when he was playing poor, he wasn't winning games when playing poor. I have said on many platforms that Bruno has dropped stinkers But within those stinkers, he's still the difference maker. One way or another, he's winning the game for you. And that's the thing that I love about football is I don't know why we've come to this era where it's like, I need my players to do this before they're doing world class. If you're doing your job on a consistent level and you're winning games time after time after time, I like what Harold said about Harry Kane. At Tottenham, unfortunately for him, he's not winning anything. But the level he has maintained from when he became a full-fledged first-team Spurs member to now has been like this. And that's why you can call him world class. It's the same thing with Gareth Bale. Gareth Bale had 4 phenomenal years out of nowhere. Actually, 2 good years and then 2 phenomenal years at Tottenham. And at the end of that one, when he scored that goal against West Ham, I was like, you know what? This guy, I can't deny it because he's done it for years. Now, obviously, we're talking about, look, Sporting Lisbon, Portugal. No one looks at that league and says, oh, that's like the difference maker, the level setter. I understand that because you look past Porto, Benfica, and Sporting to an extent, and you're like, okay, no one else is really going to cut it. But then he's coming here and he's doing his thing here. For his country, he's doing his thing also. So I can put him in that bracket for me. My things are very simple. Consistency, 3 years plus. Yeah. And if it comes with accolades, that's fine. But it comes with your team, innit? But if within those accolades, you are a difference maker. You are a main reason why they even get to a final. I will never doubt you. So Salah was doing it. He did have good year at Fiorentina. He had 2 great years at Roma. So in his first season, when he came Premier League and banged 44, I said the guy's world class. You cannot deny it. Sadio Mane, Premier League at Southampton. Don't forget, he was popping hat-tricks against some of the top teams in this country, bro. He was popping Liverpool as well. You can shake your head, bruv. The guy is a world-class player. You can shake your head.
Now, let him say, I want to hear what he's saying.
Consistency.
I want to hear his point.
I'm not a numbers guy, but numbers on top of it and being a difference maker for Liverpool, he's done it. He's done it. It's facts. He's done it. So no matter how pretty his football is or how nice he looks on the dribble, if he's scoring goals to win games for Liverpool, he's doing his damn job and he's done it. So that's what it comes down to for me, bruv. And I'm putting Bruno in that same bracket. He's doing his damn job by winning games for Manchester United Football Club. World flipping class.
Perfect. So before I come back to Harold and Daniel to have their say, bits and bobs. I know you've been waiting, like Anthony Josh has been waiting to fight Tyson Fury for a very long time. Step in the ring and give us your thoughts now.
You know, I'm humble. I'm trying. No, listen, yeah. No, listen, yeah. Do you know, like, I'm 31 years old, okay? And I grew up on Batistuta, Inzaghi, Zidane,
yeah,
the real Real Madrid Galacticos, you know, Figo and all that football, yeah? Roy Keane, Vieira, Gerrard, and then even Prime Lampard, yeah? I just think the word world class now is so
loose.
I think the definition has been diluted because the level of players, okay, let me give you an example. Virgil van Dijk, okay? Virgil van Dijk is in his era, which is not his fault, yeah? It's not his fault, but he's the best defender, right? He's the best defender. However, Virgil van Dijk plays in a system where more or less he comes across one striker, okay? And he's free to play, but I'd like to see him play against some world-class strikers. How many world-class strikers does he play? But that's not his fault. My point about world-class is that, like, when I think world-class, yeah, I think Zidane, I think Ronaldo, I think Messi. And I just think the level of footballer has diluted where people like Bruno get these titles. People like Salah and Mane and so on. I don't really think there's that many world-class players in the Premier League, personally. I think you've got to say Virgil van Dijk. This is without me being biased. Virgil van Dijk, Fabinho, that's as far as I'd go as world-class players at Liverpool, in my opinion. Just on the point where I haven't seen Fabinho have a bad game. I haven't seen Virgil van Dijk have a bad game. And I just think Bruno, like, you can talk about possession, ball, risk take, blah, 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 yeah? If you're banging 25 goals from it, if you're doing what Frank Lampard done at Chelsea, season after season after season after season, then maybe I could say Bruno is. But I just think the title world class nowadays is diluted now. You know, it's very diluted because I mean, let me give you an example. When Juventus went down in the Champions League, Gary Lineker tweeted incoming Ronaldo hat trick. Do you know what I mean? It's like, you know, something was going to happen. You knew, okay, we're playing rubbish right now, but Ronaldo's going to score. Do you know what I'm trying to say to you? Like, it's going to come. And that's consistent over 15 plus years. And I just think, I mean, the Premier League had Hazard when he could be bothered. You can even put in their skipper before Henderson. I hate to say his name. But I'm just saying, I just feel like it's diluted, you know. And if that's the case, that we're bringing Salah, Mane, and Bruno, you know, I just think the level of player and
but bro,
it's diluted, you know. I don't know. Do you guys get what I'm trying to say?
No.
I'm basing it. Sorry, I'm basing my thoughts. Sorry, I'm basing these thoughts basically on this era. I'm not saying that if they were playing with those guys, they would be even near it. But in this era alone, how people look at players, I'm stiff with world class. But for what my thing is and how I define it right now, because of the years they've given me, I feel like I can put them in there. I can say, all right, cool, you did your thing. But if you're talking about those guys, yeah, of course. Like, for example, R9, like that's not even world class. That's flipping alien. You know what I mean? Those men are, but they were world class because of a certain bracket.
Yeah, I get that, Coach. But what I'm trying to say is that, like, we're all football guys here, and like, look, you know, obviously we support rival clubs and stuff. Like, I think Thierry Henry was probably one of the last world class players at Arsenal. Do you know what I mean? Like, what I mean, world class right now, like what? Because certain men are scoring 15 goals plus. Harry Kane, I don't even think there's up to 10 world class players in the Premier League. That's my opinion.
Yeah, that's fair.
You can say, look, you can make a debate and an argument for Mane and Salah, 100%. Salah, those 3 years, the ones at Roma and Liverpool's first, he was on smoke. Yeah, but if I'm calling Ronaldo and them and Messi, I need to see this on a dominance, and like even when Liverpool are playing rubbish, you know, and it's other teams as well, you know. And people say Bruno's low class, and I'm like, well, put it this way: if Gerrard could get called a top player, I cannot call Bruno world class. Put that
Okay,
way.
I hear that.
Do you guys get what I'm trying to say, though?
Yeah, I get it. Daniel, I'll let you have your thoughts before we finish off a round off on Harold. But go on.
Yeah, that's why, like, I don't know if you guys noticed, when I was doing my top 5, I was struggling because I do agree with that. I do think the word gets used a bit too loosely. However, at Liverpool, for me, the other player that I think is definitely world class for me is Andrew Robertson. The reason why I say that is because people don't understand how important he is for our attacks. Just even his runs will just force defense back, and that's so influential. There'll be games where the front three are doing nothing, and Andrew Robertson will go on a run, and it'll just stop the game. And there's been times where he just locked off that whole left flank on his own. So for me, he definitely has. But
what happened against Villa? Did he get lost, or did he get lost at Southampton?
That's the crazy thing against Villa.
Oh, I was the observer. I'm just asking questions.
Against Villa, he was probably the only player in that team, bar Salah, who could go leave the game with his head held high because he actually wasn't that bad. But I do agree with that because I'm younger than you. But from when I started watching football till now, the standard has definitely dropped. And that's why I had to say that point on Son, because when Darren Bent said he's definitely world-class, for him to be that confident, that's a disgrace. A world-class player cannot go missing for half a season in, season out. The thing is, Son has been going missing for half a season for a long time. So for me, he's not world-class. And yeah, there's not that many world-class players in the Prem.
I think Dirk Kuyt is better than Son.
Take it too far.
No, I'm serious. No, but look, seriously. How many times did Liverpool play rubbish? Dirk Kuyt came up with a header or a goal out of nothing, right? Compared to, I'm telling you, like, look, you might say it's reckless, but this, like, look what we're saying. Son has been in Spurs for 5 years. He goes on like a good run. Everyone's like, oh, he's world class. This is what I'm saying. Like, he's not world class. He's a good player on form. I just think if he was world class, Ronaldo when Ronaldo went to Real Madrid, he didn't win a trophy for like, was it 3-4 years? But my guy was still hitting 30, 40, blah, blah, blah goals. Like, come on, man. Like, come on, guys. Like, let's not, dilute this saying of world class, man. Because for me, like, Fabinho is world class. Virgil van Dijk's world class. At Manchester City, they had Aguero. Prime Aguero was world class. But we're toiling, to put a world class team together in the Premier League, and I feel like the level of the standard of players is just coming down so drastically. Because if Bruno can score 25 goals this season and wins the Premier League, he's world class. On what evidence? Do you know what I mean? Like, that's just how easy it is.
I hear that.
Do you know? But that's just my opinion. I'm not trying to be a negative or positive, but I just think give me it for 5. Give me it for 5 years, yeah. And when it's not, like Harold said, when it's not a debate, then do you know?
Yeah,
that's what I think.
I'm with you with some of what you said. The only thing I would disagree is I feel like it's unfair on some of the boys now because the game has evolved and they're probably doing a lot more than them man did. Gary Neville, the fullbacks them day, all they had to do was defend. So as long as
that's not true.
No, but mainly that was their main job, bro. Like,
because they're defenders. Yeah,
bro, hear me out. Teams like now you have teams whose fullbacks are playmakers. Yeah, so when you're training, you're not just your first job is not to keep your position. Your first job is to create for your team. Almost, do you get what I'm coming from? So the game is cold, and maybe when we put them back there and they're told, bro, defend a lot more, they might do the job. But what I would say is, first of all, the issue, I think, Feki, the issue we're having here is the players that you've mentioned, bro, they're not world class. They're hear me out, bro. You mentioned Zidane, you mentioned Ronaldo, bro. These men are not world class. They're footballing gods. They're to label those men as world class because, bro, they're some of the best players we've ever seen in our lives. Zidane, Messi, all of that. Yeah, they're not. For me, they don't even come into the debate. You see what I mean? I don't look at Ronaldo and go, you're world class. I don't look at Messi, you're world class. R9, what? Yeah. I just see him as something else, like elite players who are some of the best. So I don't compare them to world class players. You see where I'm coming from? So you talk about Van Dijk and as long as you're excelling in your role and you do it for a reasonable amount of time, I have to put you in there, and that's why. There's a lot of debate about, I'll give you an example, similar to De Bruyne, is Trent, right? Trent has a lot of defensive issues, and I would say he's an okay defender. But the boy is such a good playmaker that he's done it 2 years. This season, he's had a bit of an infrequent start. And unfortunately for the boys, I feel sorry for them because Trent had COVID in preseason. Do you know what I mean? And we don't know how COVID is affecting these players.
Yeah.
They come back and play, but they might not be 100% all season. Do you get where I'm coming from? So unfortunately, we don't know. So we've seen players who are usually in top form, not necessarily in top form. But I think we need to keep it simple. If you excel at your role and do it over 2-3 years, we have to put you in there. Because how many players can you think of right now that are excelling in their role and have done it for 2-3 years? Not that many.
No, mate, I don't think you can get 10.
Sorry?
I don't think you can even count to 10. Get 10.
Exactly. And that's why they're world class, because they're doing that. And for me, that's what you can't watch someone excel in his role for 2-3 years and not be able to call them world class. That's not fair. You get what I'm saying?
No, I agree with you. I do agree with you. And I just think that because of like what we are used to watching, that's just how it is. But I get what you're saying, though. You need to look at it in a different light. So no, I agree with that, Howard, man.
Because them, man, bro, when people say R9, when we're talking about world class and people start mentioning Messi, R9, Zidane, I'm looking at like, bro, they're not part of this. These men are in a league of their own, bro. They're not in this debate, bro.
something else.
It's like people talking about getting 3 houses when these guys are in the mansions. It's like they're living a completely different, like gated communities, 20-acre gardens and all of that. It's like these guys are like, listen,
They're in the league of their own. Now hold on, Manny is saying 2-3 years is light, bro. 2-3 years of
Light?
consistency is not light. That's a
Manny.
long time.
But do you not think, Harold? Do you not think though you have to chuck in trophies though, because
Yes.
because that's why I think that's why there's not much respect on Harry Kane.
Yeah,
Bro,
Do you know what
I
I'm trying
think
to say?
that's his fault because he
you
chooses.
need to chuck in trophies, yes, but if you're at that level that Kane is at for that amount of time, I can't ignore it, man. It's difficult because how many players do it at a club like Tottenham at that level? Not that many. I can't even apart from Shearer, I can't even think of a player who played for a team. Sorry?
I said you can't name one,
You
especially.
can't, you can't. Where he's banging what 20, 30, almost 30 a season every single season at a club like that.
Yeah.
Consistently, not like he's that you have to call it. And he's apart from the final where he was obviously not fully fit, he's never been in that position where he's the difference between them winning a trophy and not winning a trophy. You see what I'm coming from? So you can't really blame him for that.
I agree with you. Anyway, gentlemen, looks like we've come to that time. It's definitely a pleasure. I think with the podcast.
By the way, sorry to ruin it, but Vardy's world class. By the way, Jamie Vardy's world class.
We're ending it there, lads. That's we're ending it there. Whereas we can be here for to eternity and Kingdom Come having that discussion, different perspective. But Daniel, where can we find you?
At Papilo017. Tune in on Sunday. I'm going to be on Twitter after church ends until the United game. So I'm going to be doing live commentary. I can't wait.
I'm perfect. Final predictions for Sunday.
For Sunday, 3-1 Liverpool.
Perfect. Kojo, yourself. Plug yourself in. Predictions.
Free midfields on Twitter, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, basically audios, and Free Midfield Podcast on YouTube. And score prediction 2-1 United. You are one. I want, remember back in the day when John O'Shea scored a winner out of nowhere? I want Wan-Bissaka to come on and blast one for no reason. Just score one. Look at Harold. Harold, listen, I told you, bro. You're gonna win that hoodie, yeah? If you lose, yeah, because I'm not saying we're going to win firmly, but if you lose, see that hoodie, you better put it down.
Bro, you sound like you're doubting yourself. Be confident.
Well, someone's gonna be upset.
No. I said 2-1. I said 2-1. I said
Why you
Wan-Bissaka, wait to go and blast one.
Yeah,
I
someone
want to blast one and then go and do celebration like your guy,
Harold, plug yourself.
We've not lost at home in 3 years.
I beg, stop making
That's
noise.
a lie.
If I'm being honest,
lie.
I worry about a lot of games, but
In
this
the
one
league,
isn't
sorry.
one of them.
Sorry. We just eliminating history.
I think 3-1 Liverpool. I'm more thinking about the Burnley game that we have after. That's gonna be. I'm worried about the Burnley game, and I said the same about the Spurs game. When we had Spurs, I said forget Spurs. I'm worried about the game after, and that's how I feel about this game.
Okay. Well, plug yourself.
Very good sense.
Yo, boo boo bang bang bang. Listen, that's my Twitter handle there, and obviously Instagram at another underscore. You can catch me on Bits and Bob's YouTube. You can catch me on the Terrace. I do a podcast about football, racism, discrimination, mental health. It's called Bits and Bob's Meets. We talk about the conversations that no one wants to talk about. We try and normalize these conversations. And thank you for having me on very much. I'll take the AJ and the 30 compliments. Listen, I've enjoyed today. And guys, people are watching that are new, make sure you support the guys, sub, and obviously smash a like on the video, man. But no, man, I've enjoyed it, man. Seriously.
Perfect. And find us at FS Uncut on Twitter, on Instagram, and YouTube. Subscribe, do all of that, and support the cause, lads. Great session with you guys. Hopefully, Arsenal win on the weekend, and one of the